Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. Just doing a video today about the Marilyn Manson thing again, and I look like a total scuzzball in this light, but that's kind of the point, anyways. I'm just kidding around, but anyways, I was gonna say that I've been reading more about this whole Marilyn Manson, Evan Rachel Wood thing, and I know I've already done videos about this before, and this some of the aspects of it, but I just wanted to bring this up that makes me laugh my ass off, because for one, like today where I had, I was messaging, I'm doing a little bit better at the online dating thing again, like I was in February, even though I cut that off, probably because of that I kind of got a little weirded out by that one girl that I did a video about months back. Just look at my March videos. I think I did it at that point. So, getting a little better. There's varying ages of women I'm talking to and stuff, and I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to try to do more, God forbid, real life stuff. But anyways, there's a lot of intricacies of things that have happened in the last few years that I would just say that I'm not going to go into these personal things, but things would be a lot better if things didn't go a certain way. But enough about me. I'm going to talk about Iron Maiden. I was kidding. I'm going to talk about Marilyn Manson and this whole notion that Evan Rachel Wood is going after him and saying he was so much older. Oh my God, it was so innocent. Blah blah blah. And then it turns out, it's rumored anyway, that she went out with Edward Norton around the same time, or and what I was thinking about this was like, oh, Edward Norton, he must be like born in like 74 or 75 or something. Maybe it's a little bit closer in age. I mean, obviously it's not, kosher, so to speak, as far as that wasn't supposed to be a joke about that subject, but the irony of the ironies came thrusting forth with that term, because I actually am of Jewish descent, but anyways, we're kosher. I just meant like, whatever. It's ironic because there was some stuff about that subject brought up in the Evan Rachel Wood thing and Marilyn Manson thing and all this stuff, so it's just ironic that I use that term, but so anyways, she went out with Edward Norton, and he was born August 18th, 1969. And Marilyn Manson was born January 5th, 1969. So my question is, do those 8 months make a difference as far as the power dynamics? The power dynamics were less with Edward Norton because he was a little bit younger, like 8 by 8 months. Like, is he like less? Is it less of assault because he was a little bit younger, like by 8 months? Is it less like problematic for her to date these much older men because he's 8 months less old than Marilyn Manson? I think it's pure hypocrisy is what it is, and I think this happens with these situations. You see these situations, and I'm going to be fucking blunt here, and this is going to be a little bit offensive to some people, but well, you see a feminist, a lot of modern feminists. I'm not gonna paint with a completely broad brush, but a lot of modern feminists come out against something. Let's say they say, "Oh, this is so problematic." Chances are, they have experienced, like, they've done something that contradicts their virtue in their lives at one time or another. Case in point. The Beastie Boys, Adam Yauch or whatever, is married to like one of the Riot Girl icons, and like I think he tries to like excuse it, like, oh, the Beastie Boys were all a joke anyways. And it's like, it's just like, if I mean, I think that's just a funny example in a way, but actually it gets worse than that, of course, because in their private lives, a lot of women might say they're feminists and are against this or against that, but in their publicly, and then in their private lives, they're doing something totally different. It could be that they submit to more traditional gender roles. See, I actually don't like, I shouldn't say that. I don't care about traditional gender roles. That's the thing. Like, I don't care if a woman wants to be the aggressor or the assertive person in the relationship or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just care when people try to enforce one way or the other. It's like if they try to say, oh, well, you have to do this, you have to say this, or you have to be like this, or or you're problematic. I mean, whether it's a Christian saying it or a fucking feminist, to me it's all the same thing. Barefoot in the kitchen or only in the office and men are all subjugated or whatever. It's extremes of one way or the other. People can do whatever the hell they want. That's my opinion. So this whole thing with Evan Rachel Wood and Edward Norton is just, to me, it just kind of smacks me in the face of what really seems to be going on with some of the stuff, like just the pure hypocrisy. And I wanted to also talk about the Phoenix Act, and I haven't really read about this, and as far as the statute of limitations, now I understand what the intent behind making the statute of limitations longer, or not longer, or eliminating a lot of the statute of limitations and stuff. I understand the intent behind that, but I think it's put into place because of situations that, ironically, possibly, I'm just saying possibly, allegedly, according to Brian Warner and others that I've been watching, this type of situation that happens where a woman is claiming shit decades later or years later just because of some other situation that they wanted to get revenge or they wanted to make money or whatever. And I'm not saying that Evan Rachel Wood is doing that. It's I find her to be way more credible than Amber Heard. I've said that before, and I still will stand by that. So the problem is when, in general, when you want to, it depends on, I don't know what the Phoenix Act says. If it's like 20 years or 30 years, then I find that very problematic. I find it problematic for various reasons. I don't know if I believe in false memories, or there's a lot of different studies on whether there's such thing as false memories or repressed memories. Of course, there's a lot of controversy with both subjects. So I don't know how I stand on that, but I know for a fact that what will explain, what if I accuse someone of stealing something from me from 30 years back. Let's say I said, oh, he stole this, let's arrest him now. Doesn't even have the said item. I don't even have the said item. It's just my word against that person, the alleged perpetrator. It's like, dare I say the word hearsay, it's like, that is the problem. That's what the statute of limitations being in place is trying to go against. So this Phoenix Act seems like this virtue signaling law, kind of, like, oh my God, it's dangerous. If I just watched a video about this. They didn't go into details about how long the Phoenix Act proposes to be, but there was a Instagram from Evan Rachel Wood where she talked about this stuff, and I'm like, this could get into some dangerous territory. And I hate to use a slippery slope analogy or fallacy. Hopefully it's not a fallacious thing to say, but this could get dangerous. I mean, like I said, like you could accuse someone of something they did 50 years ago and they could get arrested for it. Like if you apply, this is the problem I have with all the feminist sexual whatever gender politics thing, the whole third wave woke everything about this. If you apply this logic to other things in the world or in life, then it would totally backfire and just explode in your face. Example, the whole notion that, I'm just going to put this way, I'm not going to say that I believe in statutory the R word. Like, I believe that men or women should be able to go under that age or anything. I'm not saying that. That said, the whole idea that a girl that's, let's say, 16, 17, or 18 is not responsible for themselves in any way. It's just all the man's fault. It's all the perpetrator that's grooming them, whereas a kid that's 16, a boy, or even girls, they can murder someone. They could be under the influence of drugs, their peers. They could be, dare I say, like they're in their own fantasy world, like happened in with the whole what was that meme that the girl killed the other girl. I think that was actually in Waukesha or somewhere in Wisconsin. I forgot what the meme was called, but it was like she killed her over that, and I think she didn't. I don't think she got tried as an adult necessarily, but there is the option to try kids as an adult if they commit a murder. Yet, what these feminists are essentially saying is that even adults, 18, 19, 20, 25, in one of the cases of Carrie Fukushikawa's accusers, or when she said she was groomed, by the way, and they're saying they're not responsible at all for any of this stuff. Oh my God, this evil man, the patriarchy, that's the problem I have. And then you can go to war, if you're 18, you can join the military, die or get killed, but yet women don't have agency because they're so young against a 40-year-old man or 44-year-old man. But anyways, they don't have any agency, none whatsoever. They can't think for themselves. The guy has so much power, lives in his friend's attic, and you're just a hairdresser that lives with her mom, and I'm just this evil man who lives in this guy's attic and rents it for $400 a month, and it's a sweaty attic that the air conditioning hardly works. So I'm just essentially a horrible, evil person because I'm 15 years older. It's actually a real situation. But I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying she even said anything as such, which I doubt she would. Still friends with her on social media and stuff, but I'm just saying, let's say she did, hypothetically. Oh my God, what would she say what would they say? The women that have dated me that are much younger, I'm saying, what they say about me, I can sort of play some fast stuff on guitar, or have a YouTube channel with 375 subscribers, or what would they say? Where's this power dynamic coming from is my point. I drive a fucking Ford car. It's not like it's like where do these power dynamics come from, other than me being what's on my driver's license is a certain number, or a certain life experience, which sometimes they have more than me in that area. I'm just saying, it's so stupid. So this Evan Rachel Wood thing, I see a lot of problematic things with it, and I'm not saying that she's lying. I'm not saying that she's, but if you look a little bit below the surface, there's a lot more, like the Ilma Gore thing or whatever, with the scams, or the fucking the swatting, or the fake FBI documents, and all this stuff that Manson's alleging, and this hacking and stuff, all this crazy shit. So I was ready to believe her too, but I'm like, because I've never been a huge Marilyn Manson fan. It was like, I saw him back in the day. I'm like, it sounds like Alien Sex Fiend a little bit. It sounds like Zero Kill Cult and Electric Hellfire Club, and like some of those bands that came around back then. And like, but it's just like, it's all right. A little bit of Nine Inch Nails in there. I didn't really dig it that much. There's just bands that I never really got into. They just don't have that essence that I like. But I just bought, actually, Antichrist Superstar. I'm going to listen to it all the way through on headphones and read the lyrics. But even in the car when I was listening to it, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I'm just like, I never really got sold. I think he's an intelligent dude, but I never got on that train. One of the bands that was big back then was Typo Negative, who actually recent years I do like. I'm like, holy shit, I missed out on them. That's a gothic band that I don't think Marilyn Manson's gothic, but Typo Negative definitely has closer to gothic metal or rock, kind of thing. So I mean, that's the whole thing with Marilyn Manson, or with Typo Negative. So yeah, I don't think this Evan Rachel Wood thing is there's a lot of problems with the whole narrative that's being pushed by her and her supporters. It doesn't mean that she's lying. It doesn't mean that there's no abuse, just like with Amber Heard. But the more every day, like I gave Amber Heard a little bit of the benefit of the doubt too. Like I was like, there could be some truth to it. Every day that I hear something new about it, or honestly from Amber, the more that she talks about this, the less I believe her. Just the more that she pushes on and on and on and gets all this media spotlight. Volunteer for a domestic violence shelter, do some charity work, well, we know what happened to her charity work, because she pledged but didn't donate the fucking money. She didn't, just pledged it. I'll give you some money. It's like me borrowing money from a friend, which I used to do a lot, unfortunately, and never giving it. I'll pay you back, and then going in court and said I was gonna pay him, or I paid him because I said I was going to pay him. It's like, oh God, the mental gymnastics of these people. So yeah, the Evan Rachel Wood thing, very problematic stuff going on with some of this. And the Phoenix Act, I don't know what it says. Like, I might read more research into it. I don't like the notion of eliminating the statute of limitations, or maybe making it a little maybe making it a little longer wouldn't hurt. Maybe 10 years. I don't know what it is. 2 years, or I think it's like 4 or 5 years or something like that, or 7 years. Some places I don't know enough about it, but maybe maybe make it 10 years. Fine, that's understandable if they make it a little longer. But whatever. But some of the language that I was reading about from those Instagrams and stuff, this person I was watching their video about this, very very troubling, because essentially, if you read between the lines of what this woman was saying in this Instagram, or Evan Rachel Wood, it's essentially saying that it's like the whole hashtag believe all women. Like, I don't think people took that literally necessarily, but if you took it literally, this is what the Instagram was kind of implying, like, should be the case. I'm like, oh my God. Now, do I think that there's unfairness in domestic or SV trials? Trying to censor myself from YouTube. I know it doesn't really matter that much, because my channel is pretty low on the totem pole and pretty problematic as it is. But do I think there's problems in those trials and stuff? Do I think there's a lot of missed justice? Yeah, for sure. There probably is. Do I think it's as bad as these people are saying? I think we've probably come a long way with a lot of that stuff, and people don't want to give that that side credit as far as us saying that. I think they've come a long way. I don't think that the evidence of it probably depends. It probably depends on where you're at. Like, if you're in some bumfuck Tennessee, like not Tennessee, like let's say Alabama small town, which is ruled by a bunch of rednecks that hate women or something. I'm not saying this actually exists. I'm just saying, let's say it's just like this misogynist ultra right wing town. Like, even Trump's too liberal for him or something. Like, I'm just saying, and they'll just accuse the woman of being the instigator of everything, even though she got RAPED or RAPED. That could happen. But if you're in fucking like San Francisco, Berkeley or something, I don't think most big city place, big city with these attorneys and these very liberal jurisdictions, I don't think injustice happens as often. So I think it's kind of depends on what you're talking about. But the wording of that Instagram was alarming to me, because it was like, what's the conclusion you can make from? I wish I could read it right now, but it's like, what's the conclusion you can make from this? And then she contradicts herself too. This video was pretty good that I watched, because Evan Rachel Wood contradicts herself in the middle of it, because she said I forgot what it was. You'd have to like look at some of these videos. There's a lot of videos about it, but like she kind of contradicts herself with what she's saying, because at first she's saying that the system itself is bad, and then she said this particular thing didn't use the system enough, or it was I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I don't believe that we should just revise everything in the system to make it so you believe things just on face value. That's the whole point, and that's the problem I have with these people. Is like, oh, we just got to believe everything they say. It's one word against the other, no evidence at all, because that is the extreme that they're pushing, some of these people. And I swear that's what they're pushing. Maybe they don't realize it. Maybe it's not like a conscious thing. They think, oh, it's so terrible, the injustice of all this stuff that happens, and all these cases get thrown out because there's lack of evidence, or and the person's not believed, but they're still torn apart on the stand, and they're still the victim and all this stuff. And I understand where they're coming from with that, but we can't just fucking have this society where if you're a woman, you're taken seriously at face value for anything you do. You're not accountable for anything. You're not responsible for yourself in any way. That's the extreme. I mean, Camille Paglia, was attacked in the 80s and 90s for having these ideas that are just simply like common sense. Basically, I mean, some of them push it a little far, I'll admit. But like, for example, like if you're a woman, like you're 20 years old, and some guy invites you up to his apartment at 2 a.m. for a drink, and you're going to be alone with him. I mean, are women that naive, and like, are they just babies? That they don't fucking know that this is like a situation that can lead to that this guy is trying to get somewhere. It would be one thing if it's like, oh, come up, we're having a party, there's like 5 other women there or something, but like, this is a situation that happens, and yet people are saying you're a sexist for saying that's what it's like, it's so stupid. And that's how extreme our society has gotten, that if you even question that a woman has to take some personal responsibility in their lives for anything, you're a fucking misogynist, sexist pig, who wants patriarchy, who wants barefoot in the kitchen and all this stuff. And like, if you've been watching my channel, I've been doing like video after video about Roe versus Wade. It really pisses me off what happened. I think it's fucking scary as shit, and because it could lead to other things. And people said, oh, it's not going to do anything. The states will decide. And then there's all these trigger laws that fucking, he's like, holy shit, there was a law from 1862 that said abortion was illegal. We have to enforce it now. Oh my God, what the fuck? People didn't realize the courts are going to be tied up for years with all that stuff. But this is not what that's about. Anyways, I am pro-choice, obviously, but like, this whole thing, and this kind of thing, okay, so these types of things will lead someone, if you think about it. Okay, so you have like the conspiracy stuff, you have the religious stuff, and you have this type of stuff. So a person might believe some of this stuff, like not some of this stuff, might be, there's a backlash against some of this stuff, which will also lead them to the conspiracy stuff, which is tied in with the religious stuff, which will push them farther right, and then they'll vote Republican, and then the circle, and with stuff like Roe versus Wade, that's where that comes from. So this kind of stuff, the extreme, I don't even know if I would call it left, because to me left is more economic, like I guess modern day left, like modern day far left, gender politics types of things, that pushes people to the right, and that's that's not what I want either, but I mean to the far right, because you're this fucking insanity, people not being accountable for their own damn actions. That's insane. It's like people think, oh well, they're just babies, you're just being groomed, 25 years old, you can still be groomed. I have this argument with someone online. Like, I'm like, groomed is used for small that word is for small children. I mean, I think it's dumb on the right too, like I've been saying. It's talking about small children. That is what it's about. It's not about fucking I'm not saying you can't groom adults, okay? I'm just saying using that term and just throwing it out there, just like OCD or sociopath or narcissist, all these words that we use, they don't even mean it. It deletes all meaning from these words, because it's like OCD is a specific, just like, for example, OCD is a specific condition, narcissism is a specific personality disorder, and what was the other one? Sociopath, it's a specific trait, you know? Just because someone doesn't agree with you politically doesn't mean they're a sociopath. Just because someone is likes to flaunt themselves and is kind of selfish doesn't mean they're a narcissist or likes, you know, a lot of attention. You know, it doesn't mean they're a narcissist. And just because someone obsesses about things all the time doesn't mean they have OCD. Even though I do actually officially have OCD. But anyways, that's about all.